Yo, John Huey Radio back in the building once again. New Music Tuesday, featured artist in the building. He goes by the name of Christopher. What's going on,
Yep.
big?
What's going on, brother? What's going on?
Now the question is, now everybody wants to know, can R&B make a comeback this day and age? Now, of course, being a 90s guy and pretty much navigating throughout the early 2000s and beyond, of course, R&B was doing this thing. It's kind of sort of segued or going away. But I hear that you in some ways are making a push, man, for good quality music in the R&B genre. So tell us about it, man, about the content, about your music, about your message and everything you got going on, sir.
Absolutely, man. I definitely think R&B is making a huge push coming back. A lot of people, I would have to say, in our era, in our generation and time, we in some ways grew up on good R&B, so we know what that sounds like. We parents, would play older school music, and stuff like that. A lot of us, including myself, played in the bands. So you heard great music like Earth, Wind and Fire, the Isley Brothers, Aaron Halls and Guy, just to name a few. Just you knew what good music sounded like and what it takes, or I should say, to create that music. So for me, I definitely think it's making a push and a wave back. And me being a part of that, I like to do a lot of acoustic neo soul vibes, just to give our generation somewhat of that feeling again, to have good R&B, because a lot of music now is just is dance music, which is cool, but R&B is definitely making a wave back.
So let's talk about some of your latest releases in terms of style, flow, and just overall content. What was the message behind it? What do you want the people, in some ways, the listeners, or in some way the audience, to know about? Who is Christopher and what he got going on? Let's talk about the recent and most latest project he dropped.
Yeah. So the recent project is Wake Up. The only single that I have out on it right now is Stay Away. I released that record, and basically just behind that topic was going through a hard relationship, kind of a situation to where it's like, when it's over, you should just let it be, and keep it moving, basically. And so basically it's talking about a transition of, I pretty much, even on the other side too, should have just stayed away from the situation and just let it be what it was. No love lost. Just walk away from it. It is what it is. So Stay Away is the latest release that I have out right now.
So one thing I always value and appreciate about real good artists, like especially R&B, slow jams, hip hop, how you want to categorize it. They had a way story. It wasn't just about, talking to you, but actually in some ways open your mind up so you can actually get a picture and depiction of what the story is, what the relationship was. How do you in some ways wrap yourself into that when you, as your projects, or even in some ways within your element of writing? Is it a story you're trying to tell? Is it a message you're trying to convey? Are you trying to in some ways get the listener or even the viewers in some ways feel where you coming from? Or is this more on a broader spectrum?
Yeah, I mean, as artists, we open up ourselves to basically the world, as being an artist and a songwriter. And a lot of times, within that, we have to be vulnerable, we have to be very, very, very vulnerable with the audience, simply because, people go through some of those same relationships. People go through sometimes very, very similar stories. If you sit down with a person long enough, talk to them long enough, and they open up, you open up about different things you might have went through relationship wise, and be like, wow, man, you went through that too? You like, you really dealt with that? Like, oh man, yeah, I did too, in so many different ways. So as being an artist and a songwriter, you you have to be vulnerable. You have to, open up to the audience, to sometimes say things you don't want to say. Not meaning that in a bad way, just saying things of um, showing, a open, a loving or caring heart, or it could be, a sad story, of what you might have went through. But 9 times out of 10, people can relate simply to those things because they might have went through it or might be going through it. You just never know. So
Now, the real artists that I know and the true artists, they not only just, regardless of whatever genre they operate in, they still have a way to encourage, inspire, uplift, as well as educate their listeners, any listener, for fans, however you want to look at it. Now, with social injustices that are happening right now, so many things that we as people of color, minorities, even, all races, well, primarily minorities and people of color are dealing with. Is that something that you can see yourself in some ways tapping into as you continue to build your catalog, grow within your element as far as art and your repertoire? Can you see yourself actually tackling that and getting the people to wake up, to know your rights, believe in yourself, love yourself? That's always been the mantra of any great artist, not only making you feel, but empowering you as well in their different stages of art. Can you kind of highlight or talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. It's tough times that, we are in some ways going through. And I actually have a couple records that are, touching on the social, justice and stuff like that particular area, but I haven't released them just yet. But they will be coming out. And it's just, myself being a military guy as well, having a family member that was murdered, before, and, social injustice and stuff like that. I can really relate, and I can really touch and feel a lot of the things that's going on. Just even recent, videos surfaced of a military guy, you know, I don't know. I think it's gonna take us to really continue to just band together, continue to look out for each other in so many different ways, so many different areas, and just wake up and realize, like, I mean, it's happening. A lot of things that are happening happen when our parents was kids. It's kind of like a circle, full circle, basically. And we are dealing with some of the same things that they had to go through and they had to see, which is, it's kind of sad. It really is. It's sad.
Now, a lot of the art, and any great and all artists will tell you that their experience or their art comes from, the pain, the struggles, the issues. Could you add to that? How do you, in some ways, sort of harness as well as use that? Being a military guy, as you alluded to, and still seeing so many things that are being so much social unrest, social injustice. What does your art come from? How do you pull from it? How do you share it? What's the sort of the foundational pieces that allow you in some ways to pretty much give people the picture of who you are and the message you have in your music?
I'm a real big energy guy. So I tend to pull from a lot of different areas, definitely believe in religion and a higher power, higher being. And a lot of that really just, it comes from that. It stems from that. It stems from the energy, whether, if I may be feeling a certain way, that day, that particular day, if I'm, excited, energized, not more so, it really just depends. It depends on that energy that particular day. But you have to know how to what's the word I want to look for? How to just take control of that energy and own that energy. You know, a lot of times people, they don't like to own their own energy. You know, you can feel when you're bringing great energy to people. You know, you can also feel when you're bringing negative energy and creating negative energy to people. Own that, change it.
Now, one thing I like about I keep saying any great artist because I mean I love singers. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact of collaboration. I love singers. Now I'm not a big when it comes down to R&B singing. So could you speak to that in terms of what's the meaning behind it? Is it useful? Is it helpful? Is it needed? You know, when I think about most of all the great artists that have come and gone, that have worked with thousands of artists, left their imprint. What's up with the? I mean, is that in some ways needed within the mindset of creating a better sound? Does it in some ways influence or in some ways even abstract a good quality sound of art as it pertains to some people say slow jams or just good music? Tell us about it. You're an Autotune guy. How would you do or against?
Well, I would say, you know, I mean, there's always gonna be a sense of once you start to put your music out to the world, it's always gonna be a sense of particular area, you know, that you're labeled as. How you define that, that I would have to say is within the artist. Only the artists know that, you know, of when they're finding a particular sound or when they're trying to be in a particular genre. You know, it's really up to the artist. Like, and I'll tell people any day, like, it took me years and years to figure out my particular sound, like how I wanted to sound, how I knew I could sound. And I literally worked and just created that. Like, I knew it was gonna be R&B, but I didn't want to sound like anybody else. I knew that sound that I was gonna create had to specifically come from me. So yeah, I do also use Autotune, but I particularly use it in a sense only for mixing purposes.
Gotcha.
You know,
now is that what
I don't.
That's the case probably all artists, or do some really just take too much advantage of it, allow it to be pretty much their mantra? I mean, because I saw a post somebody said,
yeah.
Shout out to Nate Dogg, man. R.I.P. to Nate Dogg, big homie Nate Dogg the past.
R.I.P. Nate Dogg.
Nate Dogg's a singer. And now that's one thing I loved about, you know, Nate Dogg's flow, his style, his overall just delivery. He was a singer. You can put him in any genre, pop, rap, art, whatever, gospel. You can put him anywhere. He gonna pretty much hold it down. So how Nate Dogg to Autotune? That's the question I have.
You say that one more time?
How do we go from Nate Dogg to Autotune?
You know, Autotune has been around for a very, very long time. What a lot of people don't know. It really has. It's been around for a long time. And I think a lot of today's artists feel the need to use it as a platform for a particular sound for whatever reason.
Right.
I don't know what the reason is, but like I said, I myself use Autotune, but a lot of great artists that you hear, believe it or not, when they come out of the studio, they use Autotune as well. It might not be as heavy as some particular artists, but it's always there and it's always in there. Like I said, specifically for mixing purposes, like, you know, to get that full sound that you hear. When you hear it, 9 times out of 10, Autotune is there. You might not hear it as much, but like, it's there.
I'm not knocking Autotune. I just remember back at, you know what I'm saying, some of those real old school, or not old school, not even old school artists, new school artists, but you just heard it pretty much clear cut falsetto. Maybe they made it happen. So man, shout out to everybody using Autotune, man. John, who ain't knocking you, man. It's all love, homies.
Yep.
Man, the next what other projects, other ventures, other what you got in the works, man, that people need to be looking out for, you definitely want to take advantage of as you continue on your journey to make the name Christopher a household name?
Yeah, I'm working on an album right now. I'm working on my album. I'll say, man, I don't know. I have so many songs right now that, you know, we are considering for the album. The rest of Wake Up, the EP that's out right now with my single Stay Away, will be dropped. That, you know, that'll be out soon. And yeah, just finishing up the album, man, just trying to stay focused, stay, you know, grinding and giving people what they, you know, what they want, man. You know, that sound, that Christopher sound that people are starting to really understand and listen to now. You know, they'll be getting a lot of music real soon. A lot of music.
Give me your top five artists that are changing the game right now, even though it may not be highly celebrated, appreciated, or known. Top five is definitely changing the game right now. R&B flavor, or even just the pop, hip hop, you know, slow styles active and alive. Give me top five artists that are doing that right now in the game.
Black, Bryson Tiller, Vito, Sammy is definitely still doing his thing, and in no particular order.
No particular order at all.
No particular order. Man, oh man. I'm gonna say Sir.
Sure. So Jacquees will be in that conversation, bro.
Yeah, but that's why I say it's I wouldn't say no particular order. Yeah, definitely. Jacquees is in there. Definitely.
Right. We know artists. Okay, we said artists. Give me the top five two producers you know, right, that you would like to work with or want to work with before it's all said and done. Who are those two producers you definitely need to be in the same room with? They can be old school, new school, person that have been in the game for a while, the newcomers that's pretty much made a name for themselves. Give me a top two producers that you know for sure you definitely want to work with one day before it's all said and done.
The Dream and my mentor, Troy Taylor.
Not bad, brother. Okay.
Troy Taylor, definitely.
I said Dream and Troy Taylor both, man. Got my boy with me. He goes by the name of Christopher. Can R&B make a comeback? He's making a move. How can the people stay in contact with you, man? Contact information, any way that they need to or should follow, or by all means stay connected with you. How can they do so?
I am Christopher. That's with a 2. So I am CHRIS 2, the number 2, PHER. That's my Instagram handle. That is my Twitter handles. YouTube as well. And stream Stay Away. It's out right now, streaming on all platforms. Yep, that's how y'all can reach me.
There it is, man. Don Hui Radio. I'll keep man, Christopher checking in with me. We appreciate you, good sir. Best of luck. We'll definitely be as well, big homie.
Definitely, brother. Appreciate it.
Much love, y'all. Y'all keep it locked, man. John Hui Radio back in the building. Still more to come. I'm out. Peace.
Music, interviews, podcasts, and so much more. John Hui Radio, next level.